Now this morning, we know school threats have led to arrests in our area, and Keith is going to have more on that in just a second.
Yeah, we're talking about 9 arrests within the area, 5 arrests in Jacksonville, including a student as young as 11 years old, 3 more arrests linked to threats in Columbia County, and a 16-year-old arrested for a threat out in Baker County, all for making school threats. You know, joining us this morning is our crime and safety expert, Ken Jefferson. Ken, this is something that has a lot of us on edge. We saw the shooting that happened out there in Georgia just last week, school shooting. We saw multiple deaths involved in that. It's a serious situation, yet and still you have a lot of kids that don't realize the consequences related to making a threat on something as simple. They say social media is something that they don't realize how serious it is.
Absolutely, and it is a cause for concern. When you look at the overall picture of what's going on in the world, and you see these kids and they're getting younger and younger that's committing these crimes, you've got to look for certain signs of different individuals, and you have to take their threats serious, be it their words, be it their posts on social media, be it texting one another, because families don't really sit down at dinner time anymore. The kids are doing whatever they're doing, and if they are at the table during dinner time, everybody's got a phone.
Right.
They're texting, they're going on IG or Facebook or whatever. So we've got to take this thing serious.
Things have changed, times have changed. I will say this though, in these cases it appears as if the students did the right thing by telling their parents, hey, we see this threat. They let an adult know and they were caught and arrested. But what exactly do students need to know just in case they see a threat perhaps on social media against their school?
A lot of times, if they see a threat on social media at school, they've got to bring it to the attention of an adult, be it a trusted teacher, a principal, or anyone that they trust. Even another student. Tell another student as well, because that one student who has first-hand information may not be bold enough to go to an adult, but another student may. So you have to, if you hear something, if you see something, it's an old adage, you got to say something. You've got to act on it.
Now, Ken, from a law enforcement perspective, I want to make it clear to kids out there who are watching and listening, what happens on your end as someone in law enforcement when you get a wind of something like this going on, a threat on social media?
So when you get that threat, you immediately locate the individual that's responsible for it. They have methods and ways to do that.
They can find you, yes.
They can find you. They can find you. You can throw the rock, but you can't hide your hand. They're going to find you. And then from that point, they do a follow-up. They look to see if it's a credible threat. But if it's just a threat, whether it be credible or not, you're in trouble. Because once they find you, you can be charged with a second-degree felony. That's serious. And that's punishable upon conviction of about 15 years in prison.
Wow, 15
now,
years.
You can be 11, 12, 13, like we've seen. The state attorney always reserves the right to adjudicate a juvenile as an adult. So if that happens, you're going to go to adult jail and you're going to do adult time. So kids and parents need to be aware of the fact that these types of things have severe consequences, and they could ruin their lives for the rest of their lives.
I do want to ask you this before we wrap up, because you mentioned parents. It's important for parents to have these serious conversations with their kids.
Sometimes parents are too relaxed with their kids. They give them too much latitude. I've seen kids as young as 6 years old with telephones and knowing how to operate it, or what have, with cell phones and knowing how to operate them properly. So parents have to monitor their child's activities on social media, on the computer. Put your computer in your home in a common area where if they're going to be on the computer, everybody can see what's going on. They can see what websites you're engaging with, what persons you're chatting with, what chat rooms you're in. It's okay to be a parent.
That's right. I like that. Stern. All right, old school. Thanks for that, Ken. Let's check in now with meteorologist Louis Turner.